So having your car going missing on Turo during a rental is probably one of the biggest fears that keeps most people from even getting into this business. Even for some hosts that's been doing this business for a while but never encountered this situation, this is still a fear at the back of your mind. Today I'm here to shed a little light on what actually happens when a guest doesn't return your vehicle. I have been through it a handful of times and each time has been a little bit different. And actually I'm currently going through a situation where a guest did not return my vehicle and I still haven't heard from them. I'm making this video to share my experience, what I did with those past situations, how I'm handling this situation, and how you can handle it if this was to ever happen to you. So with the situation I'm going through, the guest booked the vehicle from a Friday to a Sunday, which is a very average booking duration over here, and we get a lot of these weekend bookings. Trip got booked, guest showed up, did my check-in, I took a picture of her ID, nothing out the ordinary, and after the weekend, the car was due to come back on Sunday. Sent out my regular messages letting the guests know that late fees and additional charges could apply if they were running late. Didn't receive a response, tried calling, the phone was off. That whole day the car didn't come back. Monday the car didn't come back. So of course I have a GPS on all my vehicles, so I go to track the vehicle, and funny enough, on the Sunday the vehicle actually lost connection to the GPS. It alerted me that it had lost power, and after that I couldn't get any traction on the vehicle. So I know what you guys are asking, how can you avoid having to go through this issue? Well, it's really one of those things you never know when it's going to happen. You can't judge the guests by their appearance, because some of the cars that didn't come back, the people didn't look out the ordinary, they didn't stick out whatsoever, everything was normal. So all you can do is make sure you're checking the ID properly. And what I also like to do is attach a picture of the guest's driver's license to the trip photo. It's not a requirement by Turo to attach this picture, you're only required to check it. But if the vehicle was to not make it back, they do ask a series of questions, and one of those questions are, did you confirm the guest's identity? And what better way to prove that you confirmed their ID than to attach the actual ID to the trip photos, where you can always refer back to it if you needed to. So the actual procedure for Turo, if the car doesn't make it back, is as follows. If the guest is running late with the vehicle, you have to send them a message in the app letting them know that they could be charged for additional usage and late fees. If you don't disclose this to them in the messaging system, they cannot be charged for additional usage and late fees. So I pretty much set it as an automated message on every trip. It's something that the guest receives, whether they bring the car back early, on time, or late. They receive it an hour prior to the trip ending, so I don't have to manually type it out to every guest. Next thing you have to do is you have to wait 24 hours from when the car was supposed to come back before you can escalate it to Turo's Trust and Safety Department. So after 24 hours, you get in contact with the agent who helped you out when you were reporting the vehicle is late. You let them know that it's been 24 hours and the vehicle still has not been returned. At that point, they're gonna want to know specifics as far as pickup location, what time, did the guest disclose any information, where they were going with the vehicle, what they were doing, did they call you from a different number? They're gonna be asking you all these questions as part of their investigation. So once you get all the questions out the way, and assuming at this point you can't track your vehicle, all you have to do is play the waiting game. When the case gets assigned to Trust and Safety Department, they'll reach out to you, and what they usually do is they'll send you a demand letter. Basically, this is a letter that Turo wants you to send to the address on file of the guest, pretty much letting them know that they violated the rental agreement by not returning the vehicle, and they need to return the vehicle right away in order to avoid any legal ramifications. Once you send that demand letter along with a copy of the rental agreement, if the guest still does not get in touch with you for about another couple days, then you can go ahead and file a police report with the package that the Trust and Safety Department will send you, basically putting the guest's ID, the guest's information, rental agreement, so if they ever came across this vehicle, they can be able to identify that the vehicle was a missing vehicle, or potentially even go and try to locate the guest and see where the vehicle is. So after you file a police report and you give it some time, you're playing the waiting game. I've never been through this myself. This is about the furthest I've gone in a missing car case, but I've heard from other hosts that usually after 30 or 45 days, Turo will treat this as a damage claim, meaning they'll start the payout process on your vehicle. Now, I've done a lot of payout process on total loss vehicles, so I know that process takes about a couple of weeks to a month. So let's say you have to wait about 30 to 45 days before you start the damage process. So that means it could take 2 months or maybe a little bit more before you actually get a payout for this car. Now, I know based on some of my other incidents with missing vehicles or vehicles not being returned, that I was only compensated for about 3 days worth of revenue. So meaning if the car goes missing for a week or 2 weeks, they'll actually compensate you for a couple of days. But if you have a car note to pay, or obviously we all have insurance payments, we still have to make these payments while the income on this vehicle has come to a halt. So this is the only part that I don't like about the whole procedure, having to wait the extra time and pretty much be out of revenue for the vehicle that you're not going to be compensated for. So now allow me to tell you what I usually do in these situations. What I do is, after 24 hours, I track the vehicle down. If it's somewhere close by to me, I'll go and scope it out, see where the vehicle's at. There's been times where people left the vehicle in a gas station, or at the airport, or just in an apartment complex, and I always have an extra key for all my vehicles. This is something I suggest to everybody who's consulting with me as far as getting into this business. I always tell them, make sure you have a GPS unit and make sure you have extra key for the vehicle, just for situations like these when you have to go and pick the vehicle up. So yes, under those circumstances, when the vehicle was close by or in a public area, I simply just jump in it and take off with the vehicle. I've had times where the vehicle was in front of somebody's house, and I've had times where I would contact law enforcement and they would knock on the door, they would get my key back, and then I would pull off with the vehicle. I don't like to play the waiting game if I don't have to, but again, I'm not telling any of you guys to go out there and play He-Man or put your life on the line to try to get a vehicle back. It's just not worth it. The only times that I've jumped in these vehicles have been times where they were in public areas, there's nobody around, there's no threat, I could just jump in the car and take off and continue by my day. Those are the only times that I actually go and retrieve the vehicle. If I see that the location is not safe, or there's people around, or it's on somebody's actual property, at that point I'll just contact the law enforcement, show them proof of ownership, show them rental agreement, all that information, and they will get your car back for you guys. Please do not risk your life for the cars. It's not that serious. Don't take this personally. Don't risk it. It's not worth it. At the end of the day, if you did your check-in process right and confirm the person's ID, then Turo will cover you. So this is where I'm currently at in my claim. I can't track the vehicle after a couple days after it left my lot. Now I am looking into why this could have happened. Obviously I wouldn't know until I get the vehicle back, but I went back in my other vehicles and completely rewired the GPSs, making sure they're more secured. Now what I'm thinking is the battery died, they left the lights on, and somebody went to give them a jump, and how I was wiring it, you can kind of see the power wire on the battery. So if somebody was to just pull off one of those wires, then the GPS would lose signal. So now I'm wiring them in a way where you're actually not going to see any wires. It's not going to look like there's anything over there, and unless you was looking for it, you actually wouldn't know there was a GPS unit on it. I'm also starting to dabble with a few of the plug-in devices, maybe to use them simultaneously, just to have two devices on every car. Now I've heard some people say that if the vehicle is so cheap, then it's not even worth putting a GPS on it. Well, there's certain areas that you want to cut down expenses on, and there's certain areas where you shouldn't even try to. And putting a GPS on a vehicle is one of those areas that you shouldn't try to save from a GPS unit, because it is a necessity on these cars. You want to know where these cars at all time. And keep in mind, these devices, if you was to sell the car or the car was to get damaged, you could go in there and recover the devices and put them on a separate vehicle and just keep using them over and over. So it's completely worth it to have two GPS devices on each car, just in case. So I hope you guys were at least able to get some value out of this video. Like I said, I will be coming out with a follow-up to this video, just to let you know what happened with this car, if it didn't show up, or if it showed up, if it got crashed, or whatever the situation is. I'm gonna follow up with you guys just so you guys are absorbing some of my experience. And let me know down in the comments below, guys, is this something that you guys are really scared of? Somebody not coming back with your car, or you never even seeing your car again? Is that a fear that stops you from pushing forward in this business? Or is this something that you've already encountered and overcame, and now it's just a regular part of business? Let me know down in the comments below. And as always, guys, if you did get value out of this video, smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm, hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you'll be alerted every time, and make sure you tune in regularly to catch these videos. I'm dropping a lot of gems, and not just about the Turo business, about lifestyle and business in general and mindset. So you guys do not want to miss these videos. Follow my journey, get some motivation, get some inspiration, so you can go out and inspire others also. So that's gonna do it for this video. I will catch you guys in the next one. Everybody be safe.